right. Well, there you have it, people. Taylor Swift, the most powerful musician and one of the most powerful people. Um, I would say her influence at this point would be tantamount to Jay-Z, Beyonce, um, Kim K. Not that Kim K is like whatever, but still, she's operating in this sphere recently. And I would think everybody combined, for whatever reason, Taylor's popularity is just it's King Taylor, bro. If Kamala wins this election, it's because of Taylor Swift. And I know that might sound like ignorant, but like, come on. If you know, you know, bro. If you know, you know. All right. Shout out to her. Um, couple other things that's going on. Let me see. Did I play what Juvie said? I think I'm gonna play that before. Big news that came down. A Michigan inmate has won a $100 million judgment against Sean Diddy Combs for sexual assault. Now, hold your horses. Hold your horses. This is completely clickbait, and of course, every media outlet, shit, even us, we ran it because it's factual, but there's a big caveat. The way this guy won this judgment is not because a jury of his peers or a judge, listen to the case and say, hey, we believe the merits lie with the facts or the allegations that you're making. For whatever reason, Diddy did not respond to this, okay? So the story goes, a Michigan inmate known for his long history of challenging the judicial system with civil lawsuits has been awarded a $100 million default judgment against an embattled entertainment mogul as Sean Diddy Combs. The award was issued on Monday by Lenawee County Circuit Court Judge Anna Marie Anazone following a temporary restraining order granted to Derek Lee Cardello Smith against Combs in August. Combs, who's become the target of multiple lawsuits and criminal investigations in 2024, allegedly drugged and sexually assaulted Cardello Smith in 1997 at a party in Detroit, according to court records. He crossed paths with Combs while he was working in Detroit, in a Detroit restaurant and in the hospitality business, and he's a self-taught student of civil and criminal statutes, and he is serving an unrelated sentence at the Ernest C. Brooks Correctional Facility in Muskegon Heights. So essentially, you have a inmate who learned law because he got all the time in the world, and now he's filing and firing off civil suits against all type of people. One of the people happened to be Diddy. His lawyers didn't respond. The request for the judgment was $100 million, and because Diddy didn't respond, the court has agreed with the person that made the complaint, right? Even though it's a civil complaint. Says Cardello says he goes way back with Combs. He told Metro Times, and he provided prison facility information revealing that Combs' name was logged in the visitation records, and said that Combs, the Bad Boy Records CEO, offered him $2.3 million to dismiss the lawsuit. Now, I think that's cap, but he's putting that in a affidavit and a filing, which I hope there's some proof, because lying in court is crazy. So they're saying that he says Diddy pulled up on him in jail, offered him $2.3 million to dismiss the lawsuit, but he turned it down. This August 7th order was to prevent Diddy from selling assets that could be potentially used to compensate Cardello Smith for possible damages. He's one of the mountain number of recent plaintiffs against Combs, alleging violence or sexual assault. In August hearing, Cardello Smith told the court that he and Combs directly discussed the lawsuit. He says Diddy told him, you know how we get down. And basically, it was a response to his threat to proceed with action instead of accepting an out-of-court settlement. This is all cap. This is some type of this is a bored inmate, and this just shows you how the legal system could be abused and misused, especially on a civil level. Well, you have a guy who learns how to file lawsuits because he's probably in a law library in prison. So he learns the tricks of the trade that he could pretty much represent himself through at least the complaint stage. And he files a lawsuit against Diddy. And yes, some people pick it up because they're picking up all type of cases about him. So some media people pick it up. And then now, somehow, they satisfied the whole we served him shit. And because he didn't respond, they got a judgment, which is a default judgment. Now, let me tell you how this works. Not because he gets a default judgment means he gets money directly. However, let's say Diddy had to pay $100 million. It's up to Diddy. There's no time you have to pay it necessarily. And there kind of is, but if you go over it or you didn't pay yet, as long as you intend to pay, what could they really do to you? Especially if you then come back and say you're insolvent or you're indigent, so you don't have the money to pay it. So again, Diddy has a lot of leeway in terms of not only challenge the lawsuit, because now he'd be saying, hey, I didn't know about the lawsuit. We're ready to challenge it now. So they would vacate that judgment for $100 million. I think that's what's probably going to happen. And then they got to see if this guy has a case. Now, this guy is saying that he got touched. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, bro, I hate to judge a book by its cover, but you a grown-ass man. You saying that Diddy fondled you, bro? That's what you're trying to tell me? Diddy fondled your balls or some shit? Get out of here. So this $100 million settlement will probably be reversed when Diddy lawyers gets on him. But that's the thing that happens with default judgment if you don't pay attention. And by the way, that did happen to the game with a situation similar for $7 million. Anyway, Law and Crimes. I don't know if you guys have seen this. It talks about Diddy. It gives a little bit more detail about Diddy and what's been going on with him. Listen.
What I just want to say is...
here's actual footage from the court hearing with the guy who's suing Diddy. Let me make this a little bit smaller. Sorry, John.
One meeting, and then a financial advisor on the other meeting on Mr. Combs' behalf. And he stated that he would make me an offer to end the case and what happened to me because of other things that he stated he has going on in his life that require his money right now, and he wants to sell everything off. And he made me a financial offer of $2.3 million to allow what happened to me to go away. And he stated that he's going to be selling his property. And under the 2005 California Civil Code 2881
this is an inmate, but he clearly knows the statutes, the statutes that he needs to quote to basically speak in legalese that could probably impress a judge, and for the judge to say, you know what, hey, we're cool with you not having a representative, and also you could speak for yourself in court.
2885, the creation of liens, which allows out-of-state justices and orders to cause a stop of any title transfer, property transfers in Los Angeles or any other place that he has property. He stated that he wouldn't be able to proceed with that sale. And he did it the day after I served him the suit. And he also said that he won't be filing an answer to the complaint. He said, you can find me in default or whatever. He has a better chance with default than he would with having a restraining order stopped. And I said, so you want to hide you want to hide your money and stop from being quite possibly paid to me if I'm given the benefit of a judgment in my favor for what you've done to me. And he pretty much said, yeah. He says, you know how we get down. And I said, okay, well, I disagree with how you get down. Your sale shouldn't go through.
So I'm gonna hold on.
I'm sorry.
Mr.
I'm sorry.
Cadello Smith. Okay, so you went in a different direction than I thought you were going into. I thought we were just going to focus. No.
We are.
You kind of went off on a different direction than what your actual motion was.
Yeah.
So what I just want to say is settlement negotiations.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
In this case, are probably better not. Yeah, they're not to be placed on the record today. Okay.
I apologize.
No, it's okay. You're not an attorney. I understand that. So if we can just
Okay.
backtrack and focus just on your
Yes,
motion.
ma'am. I get what you want.
Okay, thank you.
The motion stems from Combs listing his Los Angeles mansion, the same home raided by the feds in March. According to Cardello Smith, he wanted to prevent the sale of the mansion because it would deprive him of any monetary judgment if the civil matter went to a jury trial.
If he's allowed to sell his property that he has in LA and the properties that are in his name being used and held by other people in Michigan, then it will cause me harm because I can be tied directly to those properties through loans and through other areas of investment that I did when I was out there and while in prison through money that I've sent. And if he's allowed to go through with any of the sales, I won't be able to recoup any of my monies or anything from him as a result of any possible judgment in this action, if he's allowed to proceed with it. And an injunction or a restraining order would help ensure that he's not manipulating and selling the property to avoid this.
Yeah, so he's trying to get like an injunctive, well, still restraining order, but basically prevent Diddy from selling off the crib because that's $61 million potentially. That would be cash that could pay off this guy as a civil, damage, if he wins the case. Obviously, Diddy didn't respond to it, and again, you're gonna hear how the judge kind of comes to the decision of saying, "I'm just gonna grant you the $100 million, bro."
His responsibility in these matters here. That's what a temporary restraining order would do. It would prevent that from happening. Because it's a very serious matter. It involves a lot of money, and him selling this would help him avoid his liability for these actions done upon me. And I was just hoping that I'd be able to get the restraining order to prevent that. There won't be any harm to him, any of the parties. There won't be any harm to him in any way. And if it's deemed that it's not justified, then he can go ahead and go through with the sale at the end of the case. But one has to be put in place to stop this from happening.
The judge then stepped off the bench for a few moments to review Cardello Smith's documents. When she returned, she granted the temporary restraining order.
So, thank you, sir. Is there anything else you wish to add?
First off, just thank you for giving me the hearing and thank you for setting a pretrial on this matter. Thank you, Your Honor. There were some other filings that you should have gotten. I didn't know if that's one of the filings you could have been referring to.
So I received your complaint and all the attachments to it. And then I received this motion. And I just wanted to take a moment to review back through the U.S. District Civil Docket and your complaint. So I did do that. That's all. And
Yes.
Okay. Anything else?
Everything that you're looking at, they're all tied in together. Every part, as crazy as this seems, as outrageous as it seems, it all ties in. Every bit of it, every facet.
Okay. All right. Well, I have a proof of service showing that Mr. Combs was served on July 6th of 2000 and let me see, is that 24?
Yes, Your Honor.
Looks like it. 2024 return receipt requested was provided. So there is proper service. Mr. Combs has neither appeared nor responded to this request. So I'm going to grant your motion for a preliminary injunction temporary restraining order and order that the defendant and their agents are hereby enjoined temporarily for a period of 90 days from the sale, transfer, or exchange, trade, or transaction of title or deed to the property listed as the address and placed on the market by defendants for the amount of $70 million. And this property and estate belonging to or connected to defendant Sean Combs shall cease and desist any and all trades, transactions, or otherwise stop the process.
What type of clown show is this? So technically, obviously, I'm pretty sure if they interrupted Diddy selling the house, lawyers would go to the courts within California. I don't think this guy's in California. I think this guy's in where's the guy's at? He's in somewhere else. But regardless, they would go to another court in California, and Diddy would just get that court to overrule this restraining order that the sale could go through. So I think Diddy could still sell this shit, but now Diddy got to spend more money and jump through more legal loopholes because this random guy who I don't even know if Diddy knows him got a fucking restraining order or like an injunctive like order saying injunction order saying that Diddy cannot sell his crib.
Any further actions on this property being continued, and this shall have an immediate effect. I'm going to date this August 7th of 2024. And I am going to sign this. And we are set for a pretrial date on Monday, September 9th of 2024 at 2:30 p.m. Is there anything else? Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you so much, Your Honor. First off, thank you very much, ma'am. The second thing is, under the summons rules and the court rules of service, Mr. Combs, the defendant, had 28 days after he was served by mail, 21 if it's regular process service. His 28th day was the August 3rd, and there was no answer.
Yo, this is why you can't. This nigga has been in the law library learning all the fucking legal mumbo jumbo, and you could tell even the judge seems a little bit smitten. She's impressed by, oh, okay, oh, you served him at this time. He had this amount of time to respond. Because the judge actually set a pre-trial date for pretty much today, right? So it would have been today, or yesterday actually. And this guy is saying, we don't need that because they're currently actually in default according to the law.
Answer on the default, and I understand that I have to motion verbally or in writing, whichever one you prefer however you prefer, to have default judgment entered. And today is literally the 32nd day, I believe. And I'd like to either preserve the issue of default judgment or judgment in my favor based on failure to answer.
Okay.
Whichever Your Honor would like.
All right, thank you. Typically, we require that. Ms. McGrain. Is Ms. McGrain in her office? Oh, no, I'm hold on. I'm talking to my judicial attorney. Typically, we require the motion for the affidavit and motion for default be filed. So Ms. Adams, is Ms. McGrain in her office?
She is not. I'm going to go find her right now, Judge.
Okay.
I know. I read that rule. I read the rule, Your Honor. MCR 2.60.
Yeah, this is some like hillbilly county in motherfucking Michigan, bro.
3 governs that, and it said the party can do it in front of the trial court judge or by mail, whatever you want.
So, sir, the court rule that you're referring to, it's not a trial date, so I think I'm right. So you're going to have to file the affidavit and request for default, okay?
Okay. Yes, Your Honor.
And obviously, you'll be able to file that before a pretrial date anyway, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor. Okay, so the order was granted?
The order, your ex parte motion was granted, or your motion for a temporary restraining order was granted. I've signed it.
Look at his face.
So we'll get that.
This thing is bored as fucking jail, man. He's like, yo, he's like, if everybody claiming Diddy fucked him, Diddy fucked me too, pause. That's what he's saying.
That processed and back to you, and then you'll have to obviously serve that on the parties.
First, I want to bring on now a great guest to discuss this.
Okay.
Put forward against Mr. Combs.
All right. Anyway, Diddy's lawyers did respond to this. Diddy lawyer. He basically said that Diddy does not know this guy. And it says Diddy's never heard of him. And actually, in a statement, Diddy's attorney, Mark Agnifilo, strongly denies the claims, saying this man is a convicted felon and a sexual predator who's been sentenced on 14 counts of sexual assault and kidnapping over the last 26 years. His resume now includes committing fraud on the court from prison, as Mr. Combs has never heard of him, let alone been served with any lawsuit. Mr. Combs looks forward to having this judgment dismissed swiftly. So yeah, I'm pretty sure what they're going to do is they're going to probably have like a little hearing. He probably got some little boof-ass process server to sign some affidavit that they either gave Diddy some paperwork with the lawsuit, or maybe it was seen that like the court allowed him to just drop the paper on Diddy's property or whatever, and that's the serving. Regardless, the court process isn't to be abused by people trying to get quick paydays. So from what I'm hearing, Diddy's paying like $2 or $3 million a month to these lawyers. Yeah, y'all job is to get up in court on all these cases, especially this now, and get this judgment vacated, and also pretty much get the default judgment pretty much vacated, that they could actually go to court. Actually, not even gonna go to court. Motion for dismissal. You know what I mean? Yo, Diddy don't know you. Show us that Diddy knows you, or else you're wasting the court's time. Show us something in a complaint that could be some type of proof that you met him, you were around him, you hung out with him. If you don't got that, they're going to dismiss that shit. Okay? So I actually think this is a lot of nothing, but I'm actually surprised that this headline, which people only read the headline, was even allowed to be gotten, because Diddy's lawyers are getting paid a lot of money. How do you let any lawsuit sneak by y'all? What the fuck? Anyway.
And the
Get dismissed altogether.
In terms of whether or not he'll actually see that money, there's going to be a question there. Like I said, that there are mechanisms that can be set in place so that he can receive that financial compensation.
He ain't seen that money, man. Fuck that. Okay, the next thing is that apparently Diddy 50 Cent's baby moms. 50 Cent's, what's 50 Cent's baby mom's name again? She's apparently, listen to this.
A federal grand jury issues a subpoena in the Sean Diddy Combs grand jury investigation, according to a new report. What does it mean for the federal investigation into the rap mogul? Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. For months, there's been a lot of smoke, but maybe not as much fire when it comes to talk about Sean Combs, the feds, a grand jury, sex trafficking, and possible federal charges. Grand juries, of course, are secret, and their work just isn't supposed to be out in the public, but often there are leaks, and that's happened at times in this case. I'll get to the latest leak, this one involving a hotel in Miami and one of Combs's exes, in just a bit. The Department of Homeland Security raided Combs's homes in California and Florida back in March. That, of course, made international news. Before that, women and even one man filed a flurry of civil lawsuits against Combs, claiming Combs trafficked them, and those lawsuits have continued even after the raid. The first of those lawsuits came from Cassie Ventura nearly a year ago. She dated Combs for years. Cassie's claims were explosive and included claims that Combs forced Ventura to engage in sex acts with other people for Combs's own gratification, and that he also physically assaulted her for years. But Combs settled that suit the next day. That's practically unheard of. Now, while he may have settled the claims for an undisclosed amount of money the next day, he denied, Combs did, that he had ever harmed Cassie. But then in May of this year, CNN published a terrifying and horrific video of Combs chasing Ventura down a hotel hallway wearing only a towel. He could be seen throwing Ventura to the ground and kicking her, and he could no longer deny that he had abused her.
They're just doing a recap. We're getting to new stuff.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you got to do that. I was f***ed up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable.
Combs later wiped his Instagram clean, including that apology video, and he started posting again just recently. Last week, Combs filed a motion to dismiss another lawsuit filed by record producer Rodney Little Rod Jones. He claimed that Combs drugged and sexually assaulted him and forced him to hire sex workers and to participate in sex acts with those sex workers. Combs denies those allegations. His lawyer wrote, Mr. Jones's lawsuit is pure fiction, a shameless attempt to create media hype and extract a quick settlement. There was no RICO conspiracy, and Mr. Jones was not threatened, groomed, assaulted, or trafficked. We look forward to proving in a court of law that all of Mr. Jones's claims are made up and must be dismissed. Now, the suit filed by Little Rod is just one of nearly a dozen filed against Combs. Adult film actress Adria English filed a suit in July, on the same day that NBC News reported the grand jury was meeting to discuss evidence against Combs. I spoke with English's lawyer, Ariel Mitchell-Kidd.
So in the lawsuit, we pretty much spell out the details of the sex trafficking my client faced at the hands of Mr. Combs at his white parties. So she was essentially sought after due to her relationship with her boyfriend, who was interviewing, or I should say auditioning with Mr. Combs for his Sean John campaign. That's essentially how things came about. And initially she was just approached to be a go-go dancer. It was all very above board initially, and then eventually, with more time, it turned into being sex trafficked. She was sex trafficked in New York in the Hamptons and then in Miami. And these were all during Mr. Combs's white parties that he was throwing. So we essentially outlined the details of that sex trafficking in her lawsuit. And the reason she came forward now, as you know, a lot of people used to be terrified of Mr. Combs. He's blackballed several people, including my client and her then boyfriend, Mr. Gallo, from the industry. So as we all know, there's strength with numbers. So once Miss Ventura came forward, my client had been looking for an attorney for some time prior to finding me to also file a lawsuit because she had been a victim as well.
Now TMZ is reporting that the grand jury has subpoenaed a hotel in Miami for records dating back to January 1st of 2008, and that one of Combs's exes, Daphne Joy, is also named in those documents. TMZ reports the subpoena was asking for check-in and check-out dates, room numbers, guest preferences and requests, billing information, email addresses, phone numbers, and forms of payment. So basically, everything you could think of that a hotel might have on file, the grand jury wants to see. Little Rod had also named Daphne Joy as someone Combs had paid to perform sex work in his lawsuit. Daphne Joy vehemently denied that allegation in an Instagram post, which has since been deleted. I reached out to Combs Global about this report, about the hotel in Miami and the subpoena. So far, I haven't heard back. I want to take just a moment to tell you about a great lip plumper and sponsor of Crime Fix. It's called City Plumping.
Now, our boy's about to come on here and explain it. So this is what I played all that for you to see. So this is my boy Bradford Cohen. He was right on the money with the whole young boy shit. He's been on here to talk to us. One of the finest not entertainment, but criminal lawyers. But he's criminal lawyers for the stars. He's almost like, if you get in trouble, you want this guy. You pray you never get in trouble, but you get caught with a kilo of coke, dead body in the trunk. You just shot up your ops block. You got three switches. You need this guy right here. Trust and believe. You need him in the Rolodex. I guarantee you. Now, he might take everything you ever worked for, but this guy's worth his weight in gold. Trust me, okay? Him, Brian Steele. Is that my dog? Come here, Penny. Penny. What the fuck? How the hell she get down here? Oh, this is my baby girl. It's a baby girl. Come on. Come. Okay, all right, you shy. That's the little girl. Yo, she big as hell. This was the runts. Look at her. Look at you. You beautiful girl. Oh, I do got some food for you, but just chill out. I'm working. Yeah, she's the smallest. She's the smallest. All right. Yeah. So he's worth his weight in gold. Yeah, him, Drew Finland. Drew Finland, I believe, just got. He's the one who worked on Youngboy's case, but Youngboy's getting 27 months. People thought Youngboy's going to get 10 years. You know, Brian Steele, he said going to defend Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug, with every drop of blood he got. He's a guy too. You got to get Sado. Sado is the one that, gonna hit him up saying, yo, bro, I can't take this jail shit no more. They got big booty bitches out in the world. I want to go fuck a hoe. It's all right, say no more. I'm gonna go get you a plea. They might call you a snitch for 2 months, but you'll be back on top of the world. Got him out of there. Let me see who's in New York. Like I be knowing all these lawyers. I'm thinking about super lawyers. Of course you have. I don't know if I'll put Kenneth Montgomery up there. Nah, not Kenneth Montgomery and there's a lawyer that 50 uses in New York. That's badass, like fucking crazy. But yeah, anyway, I guess that was all a qualifier to say this guy knows what he's talking about. Let's hear him talk about this grand jury subpoena. Here we go.
Former federal prosecutor, so he knows the drill, and he's also represented a lot of high-profile people. So, Bradford, we have this news coming out about this subpoena to a Miami hotel involving Sean Combs and Daphne Joy. So, why is Daphne Joy being brought into this? We know she dated him at one point in time.
So my suspicion is that she probably is making some kind of allegations and or they're having her appear before the grand jury, or she already appeared before the grand jury and they're now subpoenaing records to back up whatever she said before the grand jury. So there's a kind of a couple different ways to go about it. Sometimes prosecutors will take testimony from a witness, and that testimony would then be corroborated later on from another witness with paperwork or with receipts. Or they interview that individual. She says or he says, hey, I was here on this date. This is what I did on this date. Then they subpoena that information. So when they put that individual in front of the grand jury, they then have the receipts to back up what that person is saying. So they could say, hey, we had dinner at, this restaurant on this date. And then the prosecutor would say, okay, is this what you had to eat? And show the receipt. Yes. Is that the receipt? Yes. Is that why you remember it? Yes. So those type of things are usually why they subpoena that information.
That's interesting you bring that up because Daphne Joy had put out something on Instagram a while back denying things that Little Rod said in his lawsuit, that she claiming that she was being paid by Sean Combs to do sex work. And then all of a sudden that Instagram post disappears. So it kind of makes sense, possibly, if she was brought in front of the grand jury, that she might delete that from her Instagram post or her Instagram page. Do you think that's part of the reason why she deleted that? And I guess 50 Cent, who is her, the father of her child, was kind of giving her some grief, saying things about her being a sex worker and things of that nature. We don't know if that's actually true, but it would make sense that she would delete that after denying it if she were brought in front of the grand jury.
So even though that's a simple thing, there's a lot to unpack there. So number one, someone makes a statement that says, hey, that never happened. Obviously, defense attorneys jump on that right away. So that statement is forever out there, in cyber world. And the defense attorney will have that in case there is a trial, in case there is some sort of motion that's going to be had. So that's the first part of that. The second part of that is, yes, if she was called in front of the grand jury and she gave testimony that's different than what she was posting, I would imagine she'd take those posts down because it would be kind of idiotic to keep that post up after she already testified in front of a grand jury. Number two is it could be that she was then subpoenaed after she made that statement, and just the subpoena alone was enough to scare her to take that down. Mm-hmm. Or number three, and this could be likely as well, she had a conversation with the prosecutor who's in charge of the case, and that prosecutor, after speaking with her, said, hey, listen, you probably want to take down anything that you have up that contradicts what you just told me, because that doesn't make any sense. So it could be a couple different reasons why she took it, or it could just be 50 Cent said, hey, get that down. There's a bunch of different reasons. More likely than not, it has something to do with the case and the grand jury.
Well, there's no love lost, we know, between 50 Cent and Sean Combs. I feel like we've been talking about this, about is he going to be indicted for months, because we have. His house was raided, or his homes, I should say, were raided back in March. So this has been going on forever and ever and ever that we've been discussing this. So, I know you were saying you thought it might happen in the summer possibly, and now maybe in September. We are in September now, in the very beginning of September. So obviously the grand jury is meeting. I mean, his own counsel has acknowledged that. So when are we going to possibly see some movement? We know these things can be painstaking and take a long time, especially if they are building a rather large case.
Yeah. So when I first heard about it, when I first heard about the raids, when I first heard about kind of what was going on, my feeling was this should be about 3 to 4 months of a grand jury meeting, and then they'll probably come up with an indictment. What I think has happened since is that investigation has unfolded to the point where I think they're going to include a lot of alleged criminal conduct that's not just having to do with the allegations of sex trafficking and things of that nature. And that is what makes it more difficult and more evidence and more things that they have to get in order to get those indictments. So now that I'm looking at it, I don't think 6 to 8 months is obnoxious in terms of a grand jury meeting if you're covering a period of anywhere from 10 to 13 years, which I think that's what the indictment is going to cover. I think they're going to allege an ongoing, I don't know if they're going to do a RICO, but I think it's going to look very similar to a RICO, where they're going to allege ongoing criminal conduct that includes, behavior that he's been accused of before, in terms of there were shootings and a car got bombed and all these other things that were allegations against him. I think they are now going to include all of that. And I think that it's going to be a very large indictment. I think you're looking at a 50 to 60 page indictment at a bare minimum. And I think you're looking at multiple counts over a long period of time. Or you're looking at 4 or 5 counts, but they're going to include stuff over a long period of time. And I think that's what's taking the grand jury so long. I don't see him just walking away from this grand jury with no charges whatsoever. And we spoke a little bit off camera, is because my belief is when the government puts in the kind of time they're putting in, I don't believe that they ever let someone just walk away from that indictment. I've just never seen that happen before. If you have a grand jury meeting for 4, 5, 6 months and the type of information that they're gathering, I don't see him walking away from this with no charges.
Well, we know it's been at least possibly since July. That's when the first confirmation of it came out. So
Right.
possibly before that, June, the beginning of July is when we got confirmation sort of about it. So it's been a long process, and it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. Sean Combs's lawyer, basically, that his lawyers have said he's never trafficked anyone. So we'll see what happens. Bradford, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that's it for this episode of Crime Fix.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Don't you like when I mute? What I was saying is that I had you guys watch that, and this is my guy right here, Bradford Cohen. He does a great job of explaining it. I guess you watching that entire thing was to kind of get the reason of why 50 Cent's baby mama is involved. And there's a few reasons, and he broke down eloquently what reasons it could be. It's most likely that she's turned on Diddy. Now, you have to remember this is a grand jury proceeding. It's unlikely that they would bring her. It seems like she might be either she already testified or will testify in a grand jury proceeding because her name is at the top of the indictment, or not indictment, the subpoena with Diddy. Now, if she's going to be involved in that process, what that says is that she's probably going to be corroborating or saying some details that could help the prosecutors get this indictment, because in a grand jury proceeding, usually they're not eager to bring up witnesses that could offer exculpatory evidence. Exculpatory evidence means evidence to clear Diddy. So they're not going to bring her on the stand and she's going to be like, oh, Diddy's an angel. He's never done anything. Yo, you breathing way too hard, girl. Chill. They're not going to be eager to bring are you good, bro? You good? Okay. They're not going to be eager to bring 50's baby mom up there if she's just going to say, oh, Diddy's a great person. So what probably happened is they probably scared the shit out of her. Hey, listen, you could be a part of this too. You don't tell us what you know. Bro, it's like the woman who did the crime with the niggas who killed Fulio. I'm pretty sure when she was driving from Jacksonville with them, it's gang, we ain't telling on nobody, yo, listen, blah, blah. Yeah, bro, if the first person usually tells is usually a woman, right? Because again, they're going to seem the most innocent in the whole plot, even if there's criminal activity going on. Really, I would say the first person to tell is me, because I'm going to tell before the woman. You got to beat them to the punch. Like, nigga, I'm like, yo, let's get down to the station. Let's get this shit on record. Like, yo, she's in the other car. Yo, get me down there quick. Yo, come on, punch it. Let's go. Anyway, but yeah, so do I believe that Daphne Joy's cooperated? Yeah. Do I think she gives a fuck about 50 Cent? No, not 50 Cent. I mean, Diddy? No. She's probably trying to save her ass. She's probably entered some type of proffer, offered up either videos, text messages, some type of proof that maybe she's kept that could make Diddy look guilty or be guilty in whatever capacity. And I agree with him. She's either said it on the stand already or will say it, and they're just trying to corroborate it. Okay, so you said he had a 15-person orgy at where? Oh, okay, at the W? All right, bet. We're going to just ask for hotel, records to prove y'all were there that night because you're saying that went on there, okay? So again, man, Diddy's in a heap of hot water. As I was watching him, I think I seen him with G-Dep recently. Diddy, G-Dep. Like, he's definitely in New York. Yeah.
Boy artist, be sure to like.
Let's see how we moving, man.
Now I'm gonna be honest with you. Christian Combs and Justin Combs, they act like there's nothing on planet Earth going on. They're turning up. They're still posting about fucking bitches. Like they don't look like they're worried at all. Which I'm always wondering, like, sometimes if you're going through some shit, your parents will be worried more than you. I would think that not being the person going through it, but you love that person like they love their father, I would think they'd be like completely overwhelmed with concern or like just wondering what the fuck is gonna happen. But nah, these boys be outside like shit. I just seen some shit. It was Christian Combs and a bunch of niggas. Christian Combs. Like, they be having dance. No, not Christian Combs. Justin Combs. They were having a dance battle outside. I'm like, oh, shit. They don't look concerned at all. Let me see if I see it. Justin Combs, Instagram. Oh, that's his Prince DC. I don't know if it's on here. But I seen it recently. I could probably find it on YouTube. Niggas was dancing like a motherfucker. Justin Combs dancing, yeah. Nigga was turning up. I seen it like yesterday. They don't look too stressed. And not that they have to, right? But shit. Justin Combs. Let's look this week. Where the fuck is it? I seen it on Instagram. Them niggas is all in a circle. Anyway, can't find him. Let me look for it on Twitter. Justin Combs.
Oh, that's crazy. I know. I thought.
I do think that, Diddy is. I personally think Diddy's trying to make things right with God. I think he realized this is in God's hand at this point. He's doing everything he needs to do to be prepared for the process. But I think he's at the point where the simple things matter. Right and wrongs, linking back up with people who may have a salty.
Everyone knows every time Diddy's name comes up in something, it's always some freaky issue by the sea, man. Now, in what's new, you feel me? Now, new information's coming out. Diddy lost a lawsuit where he essentially owes $100-something million. That person, I'm not gonna lie, bro, you're never seeing that money. It's sad to say. You're never ever seeing that money ever. Yeah. Is the diddler. You're never seeing that money. Got some of the best lawyers in the world. He's a billionaire still, supposedly. You feel me? He's liquidating his assets now, selling houses and doing all that. But bro, you're not seeing any money. Like, Diddy's the only reason he won the case because Diddy just never went to court. That's it. But it's your boy Big Act News. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and let me know how you guys feel about everything. And I'm out.